Do I own any of these? Oh, I only own one more of them. It's in the other room. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I have 10 different books to share with you today. 5 that I DNF'd and 5 that when I read them all the way through, I just didn't like them. Let's start with the ones that I read all the way through but I did not like in the slightest. First up we have King of Battle and Blood. I got recommended this book. Well, actually, I found out about this book because I saw someone post about it and they were like, 5 stars, I loved it so much. I'm so glad this person really loved this book. For some reason, this fantasy book just did not work for me. Very much a romantasy. I didn't like the relationship between the FMC and the MMC. It was enemies to lovers, and for a while it was kind of fun. And I was like, oh, he like takes her. I think he takes her. I read this back in March, so if I'm saying anything wrong, I could very much be wrong. I believe he takes her for some reason from her homeland, and then they like are forking while they're enemies, and I'm like, oh my god, they hate each other. But then she feels this like weird connection to him, and what that weird connection was, I did not enjoy it at all. At all. I'm surprised I finished this book. I gave it like 2 stars. Second book that I finished but I really did not like was Crimson River by Devney Perry. This was just, I think Larissa said this one time, it's just white people in Montana. While the plot was a little bit different from the other books in the series and some of the other books that she has written, it just felt very, very bland, and I thought the storyline was going to be really good, and honestly going into it I was really excited with what the storyline would be. I don't remember who the characters are, but I do know the FMC at the beginning of the book gets attacked while she's going on a hike, and the guy who comes into town is an FBI agent or something, or maybe an ex-cop who is hunting for the attacker because he has some connection to him in some way. And I was like, oh, that actually sounds really cool, like a good storyline. If there was yelling in the first bit of that video, it's because I left the Manchester United game on in my other room and they were getting really heated and started screaming, and I didn't realize it until I was sitting here talking about Crimson River, and I was like, what the fuck is that background noise? Like, what is going on? It was quiet last time I left. No, they were like, it was the aftermath of the game of people talking about it, and they were getting antsy. Anyways, back to Crimson River. It sounded like it would be a good storyline. I found it very bland. Penpal. I read this book back in August or September. Me not liking this book, I think it was my fault. And I do want to give this author another shot because she really did have me hooked in there from the beginning. The reason why I don't think I ended up liking this book was because I didn't know going into it that it was going to be a paranormal romance. I was confused because I didn't look up what it was about, and that's my fault. There was all this like paranormal-esque stuff happening, but I kept telling myself, oh my god, there's someone stalking this girl. There's someone who is going to murder this girl. No, you just didn't read the synopsis, Heather. The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I think my review on Goodreads says it all for this book. It's not very often where I'm like, I was close to hating this book. I despised it. It's not often I say that. I'm normally just like, it wasn't for me. I did not think it was good. I didn't think the writing was good. I think it was subpar at best. The premise of this book is this girl writes a 1-star review for a book that she reads, and the author reaches out to her and is like, take your 1-star review down or else. And she's like, no, I'm leaving it up. Like, your book was bad. And he like starts stalking her and attacking her and figures out where she is and starts to come after her because of the 1-star review that she left over his book. Got him really heated. In theory, that is a great storyline. So interesting. That has literally happened in the real world. An author stalking someone for giving a bad review. Like, I'm intrigued. I don't think it was executed well, and I also just don't think the writing was good. The last book on here is How Does It Feel? This is a fantasy read. I do recommend giving it a shot if you are someone who loves enemies to lovers romantasy. I think you might like it. It had its quirks and I was willing to overlook that, and it was kind of like working with me for a while there, and then I think the ending just, I've said this before, the ending just fully ruined it for me. I was just like, wait, what the fuck? What is the Unseelie Fae? I think those are the Fae that's in this book. I normally love books that have Fae in them and fairies and this kind of magical realm. I did like that the main character loved moths, but that's really the only positive thing I can say. The 5 books that I DNF'd this year, I'm pretty sure I DNF'd more than 5, but most of them I just black out of my memory. It took me forever to even think of most of these books that I DNF'd because I was just like, wait, what did I read this year? Because I didn't put it on. I don't put it on my Goodreads if I DNF it usually. King of Pride. I actually tried to give this book 2 separate shots. It was just really, really, really slow. I read this around the time that it came out, and I thought King of Pride was just all right. In my opinion, I gave it 3.5 stars. I would reread that book. I think it was a good palate cleanser, but it wasn't anything compared to what the Twisted series was. But also something I'm thinking is maybe it was also too similar to the Twisted series and we kind of already got that, and that's why I didn't like it. But I wouldn't think that would be the reason because I can read copy and paste books all day. This series has just kind of felt a little bland to me. There's a chance I might give it another shot in the future, and I would love to do that, but also I have so many amazing books on my TBR, I don't know if I will actually do that. And I also think my problem was I wasn't connecting with the characters, and if I don't connect with the characters, it's kind of downhill from there. The Heir by Sophie Lark. Sophie Lark is one of my auto-buy, auto-read authors. This is a part of the Kingmaker series. This is about the kids from the Brutal Birthright series, so all of their children from that series, this is about them. This one actually might have been right book, wrong time, because I was having a really difficult time getting into it. I actually think I got like 35% into it, and I was just like, I'm not really interested in reading about it. 3, I don't even remember their names, 3 of the kids got sent off to kind of like, I'm gonna call it mob school. They got sent off to mob school. It's like kind of the heirs that are gonna take over the mafia, different like clans, or what, clans, Heather, I don't know what they're called, the different sections, you know, Italian, the Irish, the Russian, they get sent off here to like learn mob school. Girl, I don't know. I wasn't vibing with it. I think something that I really didn't like was there was 3 point of views, and it wasn't necessarily a love triangle, but I didn't want the 3 point of views. Magnolia Parks. I don't know if I've told you guys that I did actually try and start it and I DNF'd it originally. I don't even know if I told Taylor that. I started this book sometime early this summer and I DNF'd it after the 2nd chapter because I got scared. It gave me a little bit of toxic, like Gossip Girl type vibes. I got scared and I DNF'd it. When She Tempts by Gabrielle Sands. I actually read the 1st and the 3rd book in the series. I tried to read this one. This is the 2nd one. This is a mafia interconnected series. I had to DNF this book because this was one of those books where the age gap between, it's an age gap romance. The age gap between the FMC and the MMC was too weird for me to read. She was freshly 18, I'm pretty sure, and he was in his 30s, but he knew her when she was a kid. I got 72% into this book. Then I DNF'd it because I was like, I can't even overlook it anymore. Because for a while there, I was like, I'm just gonna tell myself she's actually 23. But then they kept touching on the fact that she is young. And suddenly I had to put her down. The last book that I DNF'd was Rewrite Our Story by Kat Singleton. It's a small town romance. And it's not that they're enemies to lovers. I think it's more like second chance. On the back it says Cade Jennings was always there for me when I needed him until he wasn't. So it was kind of a second chance romance. I didn't feel any emotional connection to these characters, and I kind of almost wasn't rooting for them. Not rooting for them to get together, but just, I guess just rooting for them. I don't know. This was kind of a similar situation to the King of Pride. I have read Black Ties, White Lies by Kat Singleton, and I enjoyed that book up until the end of it. This is a small town romance though, and I know so many people who love this book. So, if you like small town romance, maybe give it a shot. Wasn't quite doing it for me. And those are all the books that I don't like. There's definitely more out there. I just blacked them out of my memory and don't remember them. This is all my personal opinion. If you love these books, it's not my intention to ruffle any feathers. You like what you like. I like what I like. Thank you guys so much for watching Vlogmas Day 17, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully for a reading vlog tomorrow. Sorry I haven't been doing reading vlogs. I'm in a borderline reading slump.